Hi, welcome to Garden Hauling. My name is Lula and I live in Zone 8. So in today's video, I am going to do something that I've been putting off for quite a while, and that is to get my strawberries ready for the winter time. Now here in Zone 8, we usually have mild winters. We hardly ever get a lot of snow. Sometimes we don't get any snow. So I usually don't do a lot as far as mulching my strawberry plants because and I don't even really cover them up or anything. I just leave them out and they do well. And when we do get snow, it doesn't last that long and they just bounce right back. So I'm happy about that, but I do want to show you how I get my strawberry plants ready for the winter. But before I do, I want to show you these beautiful flower containers that I planted in another video. And I had mentioned about how I wanted to kind of liven up my backyard garden space. And I think this was a good start as far as planting the planters. So let me show you some of the beautiful colors that I get to look at while I'm in my garden. So I planted two kinds of strawberries this year. I planted the June bearing and I planted the ever bearing. And these are the ever bearing strawberries that I planted and that I transplanted from containers this year into this rustic, very rustic strawberry container that I made from wood pallets. Now, as you can see, my strawberries need a lot of work. They need to be cleaned up. They have grass and weeds growing in them. And I also still have some strawberries that are blooming. And that's because ever-bearing strawberries can produce 2 to 3 harvests of fruit intermittently in the spring, the summer, and the fall. But they will start producing fruit the same time as the June-bearing strawberries. So these are my June-bearing strawberries that I also transplanted from pots this year. June-bearing strawberries can produce you with fruit for about 4 to 6 weeks. And as you can see, these strawberries here need a lot of work as well. I have weeds, I have grass, I have diseased leaves in there. I also have a lot of dried leaves that I need to clear out. But there's one thing I want to mention. If you are composting and you have a compost bin, I would not recommend adding any diseased leaves to your compost bin. I would just put them in the trash. So the first step in winterizing my strawberry plants is to prune out all these dead leaves, the grass, the weeds. So I'm going to get started doing this, and I will show you my second step when I finish. So these are my strawberries. They look so much better since I pruned them. These are the June-bearing strawberries. And then these are the ever-bearing strawberries. And look how much better they look. I'm sure that these plants really appreciate this pruning. Now you do have to prune your June-bearing strawberries, but not the ever-bearing strawberries, because the ever-bearing strawberries produce fruit several times a year. You should prune the June-bearing strawberries after they have stopped producing fruit. And the reason you do this is because this helps them to generate new growth for your next year's crop. So if you didn't do this, I wouldn't recommend doing it now, because your plants may not have enough time to grow enough foliage for winter protection. So when you get ready to prune your strawberries, you will start pruning them from the crown. And this is the crown right here of the strawberry plant. And this is the part that sits, right there where I'm pointing at. So what you want to do is you want to prune about an inch above the crown of the strawberry plant about an inch above there. Now some people use the lawnmower. So when you do this, you want to mow about 3 to 4 inches of height from your strawberry plant. Second step in winterizing my strawberry plants is to fertilize and then water. Now I like to use a fish emulsion, but you don't have to use that. But if you do decide to use the fish emulsion, just follow the instructions on the container. Now when you're mixing up this fish emulsion, I would really recommend that you mix it up outside because it does have a really strong odor. Okay, so this is the fish emulsion. And now I'm going to follow it with some water. Your plants will love this. So mulching is very important when it comes to your strawberries because this is what's going to protect them over a long cold winter. So here I'm using the pine needles because pine needles are easy to find, they're free, and you don't have to pay for them. And I'm just putting it between the rows for right now, but normally you would cover your entire strawberry plants with the pine needles, and that way they will be insulated for the cold weather because the main purpose is to protect the crown. You can put it between any bare spots in your soil as well, but normally you would just cover the whole plant. Some people use straw, some people use grass clippings. I'm using the pine needles here, but you don't want to use hay because the hay introduces a lot of weed seeds into your strawberry beds, and you don't want to do that. Now, some people bring their strawberries inside into an unheated barn or unheated garage. If you do this, that's fine, but you have to remember to water them occasionally because you don't want the crowns to dry out. But if you're going to leave your strawberries outside, you don't have to worry about watering them. Another thing is you don't want to mulch too soon your strawberries because you may be finding a home for any rodents that may be looking for a place for the wintertime. You also may cause your crowns to rot out because the temperature is still not cold enough for the mulch and they get too hot and they rot. And then a third thing is your plants may not want to go into dormancy. They thinking that it's warm now and they can start sprouting. So they may try to sprout, but you don't want this to happen. You want them to go into dormancy. And that's why mulching at the right time is very, very important. Well, that's it for today's video. Thanks for joining me. I am so happy that I got my strawberries winterized. So I hope to see you on the next video. Bye-bye.